Hi, I'm Rodney A. Brooks. Welcome to RodneyABrooks.com. Today we're talking to John Waggoner, personal finance guy. John and I were colleagues at USA Today for many years, and today John is senior editor and writer for AARP.com. You know, we're in this period of high inflation that's really frightening to people, especially retirees.
Yeah.
What kind of advice do you have for people who are already retired to deal with rising prices?
Well, fortunately, Social Security is adjusted for inflation, so you get a little bit of a bump. I think there will be a bigger increase when the next one comes up in November. But in the meantime, you kind of have to go back to the habits you had of the 1970s, which was you got to look for bargains. You have to substitute some things for other things that are less expensive. Instead of having a steak, you might go to chicken. Try to drive a little less and try to be easier on the gas when you are. And I think it's going to be fleeting. I think it's mainly because of the pandemic and because of supply chain issues. And, it's not fun, but we'll get by.
People, especially retirement age, have seen many of these things before. But this time you got inflation, you got high gas prices, you got the pandemic, you got a bear market. You're advising people to go back to work if they're already retired.
Well, some people are, and unfortunately, not everybody can. That's part of the problem. Some people have just aged out of the workforce, and that's when it's important to have some savings, and important to have some money in that savings that's liquid, that's cash, that doesn't go up and down with the market. So normally you have some money in bonds and you have some money in stocks, and the two kind of counterbalance each other. They both went down this time. And in fact, I think the bond market, this is the worst bond market since George Washington was president. So,
wow. So the pandemic basically forced some people to retire who weren't ready. So is that adding to the dilemma here?
It is, although I have to say, businesses are pretty much crawling on their knees to find employees. There are 2 job openings for every 1 applicant. And for the first time in a long time, businesses seem to realize that employees are important, that they do things like make the products that they sell, and that it's not all about pleasing shareholders.
Older workers have historically been discriminated against because of their age. Is this a time when you're actually going to see businesses start to hire older workers?
Yeah, and that's a good question, because there is undoubtedly discrimination against older folks. And, I've had a lot of people say, I fill out my application. They all say it looks great. And then they come for the interview and they look at me and they say, oh, gee, we'd like somebody younger. What they want is somebody younger with your same experience, which of course is not something that's going to happen. I'm hoping at some point that comes to the point where they'll realize that older workers have a tremendous store of value. I hope we're at that point. I don't know if we are yet.
Well, is this a time when you're going to see older workers extend their careers, basically put off retirement?
Yeah, the thing is, so, if you've saved money and you've invested it, you're down about 20% right now, right? And that's going to take another couple of years to get back if things go as we would like them to. When you extend your working life, you help your retirement in 2 ways, one of which is you have more time to save, and the other is you have less time to spend it. So that is probably, for most people, the best solution is to work a year or 2 more and try to get past the losses that they've had in the past year.
So we were both working at USA Today in 2008 market crash.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing financial advisors were saying over and over again is, if you're going to freak out, don't look at your 401k statements. Is that good advice?
Yeah, it actually is. You probably should check in like once a year, because then if you've been contributing all along, even if the market's down, you'll still probably be up a little bit, right? And then when the market's up, you'll be pleasantly surprised. It's really not until you're ready to start taking money out that you need to think about how you're going to reallocate your portfolio for that. But really, it's best just to shovel it in. Don't think about it. When the market goes down, don't think about how much more fun you could have had with that money than you did watching it fall. And it's just bad for your psyche to obsess over the market downturns. It does what it does.
This is a time when many people just freak out. When market crashes, the first thing they want to do is sell.
Right.
Let's talk about why that's a bad idea.
Well, it's a bad idea because basically you're just locking in your losses. And there's no real tax consequences or anything for selling. You don't get any advantage in a 401k by selling. You can't deduct your losses from your taxes. What you need to do, probably and rationally, is to put more money into the stock market because things are cheaper. And it's the old adage, if you saw a refrigerator was on sale for 20%, would you say, oh no, I'm going to wait till it goes back up another 20%? You probably wouldn't. Stocks are the same way. I think right now they're actually, reasonably cheap given that companies are still reporting record earnings. So
we should not stop contributing. We should, if we can, increase our contributions.
You should, and you certainly should take it if you have a match. You should certainly do it to that. That's free money, and you're not going to get free money from your employer any other way. And so if you're contributing 5% and your employer is pitching in 10, and 5, another 10, a 10% contribution rate is pretty good, So, and that's all, to some extent, free money. It's a good thing. Yeah.
So my final topic, John, is we both retired at USA Today at the same time. And neither of us either quit working, really. I mean,
right.
So when people say, "Are you retired?" It's like, well, I retired from USA Today, but I'm like busier now than I was. Mm-hmm. Actually, I don't know if I'm busier than I was there because they worked the hell out of me. but it's the new retirement. Talk about the new retirement because we've seen it with people we work with, and many of them. Some have gone on to completely new careers.
Right.
And some have continued like us, which is continue. I was an editor and I started writing again, and you were sort of a writer editor, and which you're still doing, right? Yeah. But you've had several positions since you left, but talk about this new retirement.
Well, it's interesting because if you have something that you like to do, and you and I both like to write and both like to edit, there's no reason you have to stop when you stop working for a particular company. You can always freelance. You can always do side gigs, as it were. And I think that's actually good for you because it keeps you engaged. One of the things they talk to you about in retirement is, if you think you're just going to play golf or hang out with the grandkids, you need a better plan, right? You at some point you're going to get sick of golf. You're going to get sick of the grandkids. You need to find something that just interests you, and a lot of times you can turn that into a paying something. I was telling Rodney, I just bought a beehive. I have 10,000 bees under my care now. I don't know what I'm going to do about it. I certainly don't think I'm going to make money selling the honey. But you know what? They're really interesting, and you need things that keep you interested in life and in the world. And if it's not that, you have bowling league, or if you're at a church choir or something. But as long as you're around other people and you're connecting with them, that's good. Isolation is bad for retired people. And if you can make a bit of money at the same time while you're doing things that you love, that's refreshing too, because you can look at the world differently and say, I can do whatever I want to. And that's like the first time since I was 6. So, that's a good thing.
You can actually do things that you like if you love golf, get a part-time job at a golf club.
Right.
And, reduce your membership fees.
Right.
And because golf can be expensive.
Yes, it is.
While you're still earning a little bit of money, and the whole thing, the whole joke about being a Walmart greeter. I mean, some people just need to be out and working, and there's some stories of, there's stories about people who've had pretty dramatic career changes. Like investment bankers who became artists.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so there's many things you can do that another thing is taking a hobby and doing that hobby, but not necessarily to make money, but sometimes sometimes you can make money and sometimes you can't.
Oh yeah, if you go to the farmers market, you see people who are selling, cakes and things like that, and they're just folks who just like to bake and like to, do other things.
Well, thank you, John. Thank you for coming and coming and talking to us. It's been a great conversation. Again, this is Rodney Brooks for RodneyABrooks.com. Have a good day.
Thank you, Rodney. You too.
All right.